guys, I am back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. And if you feel like this video is only going to incite you to say hateful things, or you're going to be ignorant in the situation, you don't have to watch and you can unsubscribe. But I hope that everyone who is watching is going to listen and understand with an open mind and heart. So without further ado, I'm just going to get straight into this video. So I have intentionally not posted in the last 2 weeks because of the murder of George Floyd. I wanted to make sure that I was in a mentally healthy place before I posted a video, and I just felt like, why the heck would I post like a room tour or something like that when there are so many important things going on right now that I want to use my platform to speak about? So I took the time to get informed, make sure I know what I'm talking about, and come here and use this platform to speak and to basically state where I stand. I've done it on my other platforms, but I feel like making a video about it, I just wanted to make sure that I had the chance to have this conversation with people in my family and kind of get all of that taken care of before I came here and spoke. So I'm just going to say this: Black Lives Matter, and if you don't understand that, again, feel free to unsubscribe, unfollow. You don't have to be friends with me, but I'm not going to budge on the matter. So I feel like at this point everyone knows what happened to George Floyd. He was brutally murdered and it was caught on video. I could not watch the video just for my own sanity and mental health, and I felt like that didn't even seem like something I needed to do because he was murdered and I know how he was murdered, and that's all I need to know. And I'm upset, obviously. I'm still upset about it, but I wanted to make sure that my anger and frustration was fueled into something that could actually do something instead of just being angry at everyone. I wanted to fuel it into being an activist for the Black community and being a part of this Black Lives Matter movement. So first things first, I live in a household with 2 white parents and 2 African American siblings, and so my first concern was having this conversation with my family, a full open discussion about the Black Lives Matter movement, because I knew from the jump that I would be actively participating in protesting, in donating, and in informing people. I wanted my family to know where I stood on the issue. Just because I feel like that's a great conversation to have. I've never had any issues with my parents thinking that they were racist or anything, but I just wanted them to know, like, hey, I'm going to protest and I'm going to be very vocal about it on my social medias, and if anyone in the family doesn't understand that or can't accept that, they will be cut off accordingly. Everyone. I don't care who you are. So we had that conversation. It was really, really good. I felt super great about it. Obviously, my parents were worried about the protests because they have been violent at some point, and not, let me repeat this, not on the side of the protesters initially. It has been met by violence when police were involved and used rubber bullets, which are basically huge metal bullets encased in rubber, and tear gas, etc. So that's when the protests have gotten violent. I knew that living in Colorado that most likely wasn't going to happen, and they just passed a law where they can't use excessive force to break up a protest. So I was like, okay, there's really no excuse now, you know? So I have been participating in that, in donating and informing people, and I was really happy that our discussion with the family went really well and that they understood my viewpoint and they just listened, because not everybody wants to listen, they just want to be defensive. So very blessed and grateful for that. I decided that wasn't enough, obviously. Outside of marching and protesting with the Black Lives Matter movement, I wanted to say something to my neighborhood and the community that I live in, which is extremely white, as in I only have one black neighbor in the whole neighborhood that I know of. So I wanted to put a Black Lives Matter message on this app that we have within our neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods called Nextdoor, just to inform, call to action, and educate people, because I feel like using my voice in this situation can bring light to people that don't have experiences with Black people on a day-to-day basis, because there is a lack of diversity in Colorado. So I'm going to read that post for you guys. This post is a bit lengthy, but it's a good read. I'm a little biased because I wrote it. Basically, the post has a bunch of pictures on it, and it's common misconceptions or sayings that are detrimental to this movement that white people might say that aren't okay, and kind of dispelling the belief of these things. So a few of them are like the all lives matter thing that people say as a response, or I'm not racist, or that's my ancestors' fault, not mine. So I shared Waste Free Marie's opinions. She made this post and I just wholeheartedly agreed with it, so I shared it and gave credit to her. I will link that in the description box so you guys can go check that out, but it kind of just said why those things aren't okay. And it also said, like, if you didn't realize that these statements were latently racist, or not like outright racist. Now you know, and here's what you can do, because we're all about change and evolving and growing, because being racist in the past doesn't mean you have to be racist now. Like, we're just trying to change minds and hearts so everybody can be equal and have the same opportunities, okay? Okay, so let me read my post. I was apprehensive to post this because I didn't want to come off the wrong way or ruffle too many feathers. At this point, there are too many people dying for me to worry about this any longer. My intention for this post is to inform, call to action, and educate. As an educated Black woman, I cannot remain silent. I ask that you read this whole post with an open-minded heart. Everyone has the right to live. If you are skeptical right now, read the first photo I have attached before continuing. So, the first photo I attached dispelled the statement that all lives matter. So I'm going to read that. Again, this is the thoughts of Waste Free Marie, but I agree with them wholeheartedly. So it says, all lives matter can't matter until Black lives matter. All lives matter overlooks systematic injustice plaguing the Black community. All lives matter has been weaponized to silence the cries of the unheard. All lives matter promptly ends progress before it starts. To work towards equity for all people, we must start with advocacy for the most marginalized. And I was just like, please come through, because yes, you can't say all lives matter if you're not including Black people in that. I said, my name is Tyra Cottingham, and I'm a 22-year-old student athlete that attends the school at Alabama State University. I'm a senior majoring in biology and psychology. I've been living in Colorado for 7 years. In this time, I have experienced prejudice and discrimination, mostly in high school. Things like people asking me if they can say the N-word, or saying that I'm not Black enough because I'm light-skinned, or I'm basically white because I talk proper, etc. But nothing comes close to the terrible events we have all seen on the media about George Floyd. Overall, I have had a very good experience in this community, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I think this post is important because the lack of diversity in Colorado, specifically the general area that I live in, is the only truly negative thing I have to say about this place. I want to address a few things. This discussion can be uncomfortable for some, but this is a safe space, and being comfortable does not evoke change. The Black community is fed up with the constant oppression, discrimination, and racism they face on a day-to-day basis. Now you may be thinking to yourself, this has nothing to do with me, so why should I care? Don't, because that is white privilege speaking. Here's the good thing. You can put that privilege to use and help other people of color. Whether it is calling out your friends for making light of the situation, or speaking out to others who may take your viewpoint more seriously. There are so many ways to help, but most importantly, be informed. I urge you not to confuse looting with the protesting that is going on, because they are not one and the same. The majority of protests have remained peaceful despite the media and what they are displaying at the moment. Though riots, however, have occurred when peaceful protests were met with tear gas, rubber bullets, and other acts of violence. While I do not condone violence, I do believe that enough is enough. The peaceful protests have been mocked, ignored, and spun in a negative light for some time now. For example, the Colin Kaepernick kneeling movement, when everyone laughed at him for saying that there's injustice in America. That being said, I want you to focus on what truly matters. You have the opportunity to be on the right side of history. Have an open and honest conversation with yourself. Have you really done all you can do, or is there more that you can do? In the words of Desmond Tutu, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse and you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed and don't know how to help. Here are some things you can do. Pray, if that's something you believe in. Speak out about the injustice and encourage others to do the same. Do not be afraid to have an open and honest conversation with others about what is going on. Ignoring it will not make the problem go away. Sign petitions to hold people committing heinous crimes accountable and make a change in the system. Donate if you're able. Peacefully protest or march. Call people out. Educate yourself about the Black Lives Matter movement, protests, and Black history in general. 1 month does not begin to scratch the surface of the contributions Black people have made to America. Unfortunately, the educational system only teaches about slavery and the civil rights movement. Do some research and teach your friends and families that there is more to us than what the history books talk about. Spread love and keep an open mind in this situation. Some common prejudicial responses I have posted below. These are not my words, but I do agree with them. So those were the pictures of the words that Waste Free Marie said that kind of dismantle some of the really negative things people can say that they feel like are not really hurting the movement, but they are. Do not help to ask any member of the Black community how you can help. Say their names. Don't just say Black people are dying. Say George Floyd. And vote. please vote. 44 people liked it or hearted it or whatever, and 38 people commented, so I think I got a lot of support. Obviously there was one person who was kind of ignorant on the situation. I just kind of let it go because I don't have the time or the energy to deal with that. I just want to put it into educating people and empowering them to know that they have a voice and they can help even if they're not Black. So that was the post I posted, and I wanted to read it to you guys because I was really proud about it. You know what I mean? Like, I was nervous to post it because I was like, dang, like people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's on a soapbox. But honestly, I don't care anymore. So I am also teaching my brother and sister. I'm their social studies teacher. I feel like the educational system has failed them. They don't know anything about Black history outside of civil rights, and they barely know that, and slavery, which is what they know the most about. Shocker. So I am their social studies teacher. I know, they're so lucky. And I'm just trying to teach them all the stuff they haven't been taught and dispel any lies or myths that they have been taught throughout social studies class, and just empower them and build them up, because I feel like knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better prepared you are to react to situations and do what is right. So that's what I'm trying to do. Now what? I am going to be showing you guys some of the stuff I do for the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm currently trying to make a app that supports Black lives and Black business, and it's not just for Black people, it's for all people that want to support our community and help level the playing field, so to speak, I guess. So I'm working on that, and I joined a few groups that are with the Black Lives Matter movement and kind of there to educate and help and inspire. So I'm really excited, you guys. Though this is a terrible way for all this change to come about, change is coming. You cannot stop that. Change is coming. My hope is that any of you watching this have either become inspired or become, I guess, educated on the situation. They want to do some more research, and that you guys have just kept an open mind listening to this message. But there's so much more to be done, and I will continue speaking for and advocating for the Black community or other disenfranchised groups such as the LGBTQ community or other religious groups as well, because I just want everyone to be treated with respect and dignity as they should be. So yeah, that is it for this video. I will definitely let you guys know what I do and maybe take you guys on a few protests with me and update you on the app I'm trying to start. And yeah, that's about it. But if you've made it this far, thank you so much. If you have been supporting, protesting, or doing anything you can to help the movement, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sure people have said this before, but thank you. It does mean something. Even if it's a little action, it does mean something. So make sure you guys are speaking and using your platform for good and to educate and to do what is right. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. As always, be blessed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.